It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Meir Shoresh. We're here in your beautiful apartment in Efrat in Israel. And Meir, if you can tell us a little about your family history, your roots from Hungary, and your name. It's so unbelievable. And thank you so much, Meir.
Yes, Shalom. I can't speak English very well, but I will try to tell you something about my family and what happened with me in the Shoah. I was born in Hungary to a very famous family in a small town between Budapest and Debrecen. My grandfather established they published books in Hungary. He came to the town in the end of the 19th, about 1890, and they were very rich men. My grandfather and my father worked in this place. I can show my family in the
So who is in the picture, Meir?
In the picture, we can see it. This is my grandfather. His name was Meir. My name is after him. I was born Meir Rubinstein. His family was Rubinstein. And this is my grandfather, Sinai Rubinstein, grandfather, and my grandmother, Esther. And here, the little boy is my father, who I lost him in the Shoah. His name was Yehuda, George. This is the second wife of my grandfather, Meir, because the first wife, Lo Aleinu, it was very, very sad thing that there was a fire from Nerot Shabbat, and she died. She was about 32 years, and the second wife, she was the mother, the new mother of all the family.
And your father, was he born from the first wife?
Yes. Mm-hmm. The second one, she had not children.
But she looked after the family. She looked after the children.
Yes. My father here is about 6 years old. It was about 1920, maybe. In the year 1920 year.
And they were a religious family?
They were, yes, the Orthodox family, and they have they published
were they religious books that they published?
Religious books, and also for the town, the newspapers of the town. Very, very, there was very good situation in, and so when I was born, it was in 1941. The war began in 1938. Yes, 39. Yes, and but in Hungary, the Germans didn't come to didn't conquer the Hungary, but the regime, they was very close to the Nazis.
They were allies. They were
allies. Yes, but when I was born, it was very quiet. The Jews, they lived in very good conditions. It was not something special, and my mother and my father were friends from from very young. They were very young when they met each other. My mother came to the town when she was 10 years old, and then my father, he was there before. He was 12 years old, and because the two families were Orthodox, and not all the families were Orthodox, they became very close. And they met each other. They loved each other from beginning. And when my father was 18 years old, and my mother was 18 years old, and my father was about 20. They decided to marry each other, but they can't marry, not because of themselves, but because other reasons. This is not the place to tell it. But they wait till my mother was 25 years old, and my father was 27 years old. So they love each other more than 10 years before they married. I tell it because it was very the love was very strong between them, and you can imagine that when they married, the families was they're so happy with that. And when I was born, the happiness was till the roof when I was born. So they lived very in love, and happy with me, and they give me everything what I want, and was איך אומרים, מפנקים אותי.
They spoiled you.
Me, what I needed, everything. And then the Jews there in the place, the Turks and Miklosh, it was the name of the place. Somebody tells stories about what pogroms was there and there in Poland and Russia. My grandfather, the father of my mother, was a shochet. He was a shochet there, and he says what they want to give out to this man who tells the stories about how many Jews died there and died there. Is something is not really. and please take this man and put them in the prison, because we can't believe it. The hungry Jews didn't believe what happened, because it was not WhatsApp and all the things, and they heard, they can't believe that something happens in other lands. And so there was very quiet till the horrible things begin to meet also the Jews in Hungary. It begins with they took the young people from 20 years old till 50 years old. They took them to very, very hard works. It calls munkaszolgálat. The translation it was service in the army of Hungary, but it was not a normal soldiers. They have to work very, very hard without enough food and enough sleeping, and they sometimes they died or they suicide because the conditions. And then one day in the beginning of 1943 January, when I was 1.25 years, about 15 months I was. Also my father get the they came to take him to the works in the army. Here I am with my father and mother.
And this is the original photo. This is the original.
Yes, the original. It is the last picture, last photo with my father. I was about 1 year old here. And before he left me, he was crying. This booklet is the story of my mother and me, because I was very young in the war, and I can't remember. But my mother always told us the stories about my father and what happened to us in the Shoah. And after she died, we printed this booklet. I was the editor of this booklet, and here I can tell you also something what my mother tell us. Usually in Tisha B'Av, and my daughter, she הקליט אותה.
And she recorded.
She recorded what she told us. Therefore, here I can translate what I write here. my mother tells that my father, Yehuda, his name, he was crying, and my mother asked him, "Why you are crying? You think that I don't treat him enough, well?" And then the friend of him, a goy, not Jewish, he said to me, "I heard that Jury was his name in the English name. I heard that Jury, he is going to for 3 years, and I think then how I can how I can bear it in so long time, 3 years." And when my mother spoke about it, she said, "It is 60 years that I without my beloved husband." It was very, very excited. איך אומרים פרידה, להיפרד, שנפרדתי ממנו.
The separation.
The separation was very, very sad, and then he began in the service, and we heard it was very, very difficult conditions. One day in Tisha B'Av, it was the climax of the situation, and my uncle was there and said to the friends, "Now is the most horrible. We can't bear it, but you will say the Tzuat Hashem Keref Ayin. It will be good. We have to daven that it will be beseder." And when she ended the speak, suddenly they saw a delegation came, very some very important persons came, and they thought that because they can't work now, because the conditions they can't work, as now they have it was a decision to kill them, and they were very afraid. But it was the opposite. From the Memshala, the regiment, the government heard that they work very hard, and it is not production from the work. Then they ask what they are doing, what they need. They said, "We need food, sleeping, and we need to visit our families." Okay, they gave him permission to also to go and visit in the family. My father came to our house in Shabbat. The rabbis say the psak it was they can went to the home in Shabbat because it's a pikuach nefesh. It was very important because the moral was so low, and someone is also suicide, and they have to go to the home. And my mother tell this situation. She says he was very, all the face was black from the work in the sun, was very dirty. He sit in the garden and can't speak, nothing. We try to speak to him, but he was apathy, very apathy. Yes, he can't speak, and I was about 1 year and some months. I tried to evoke him to relate to me, and I tried to give my hands, but he doesn't say anything, like a stone. My mother tell me that she took water and she washed the feet, and I tried to speak to him, but he didn't answer. Only about many hours after it, he became a little more in life, and this was the last time when I saw my father. But I can't remember him, only from the picture what I showed before. This picture, this one. It was the last time when I saw him. But my mother saw him again. It is connected to the next story. It was very special story, and this story what I want to tell you now. It shows the light in the darkness. There was some chesed of the Kadosh Baruch Hu that gives to in the most dark days. And sometimes there was a light in the middle of the tzores. In the middle of tzores, it was very nice story. My mother heard that my father and the friends of my father, they are going to live hungry in the border of Ukraine, and the government they allowed them, the wives, to visit again the husband. And my mother was very happy that she can also travel to the border, and they allowed to take food and clothes, but she was very tzadikah, very
righteous,
and she didn't allow to herself to take only things for her husband. They asked her friends if somebody want to give her also things for their husbands who can't go to the border, and she agreed to take something for them, and the friends came and gives her more and more and more, and it took the baggage and was very heavy, and so he went to the train. In Debrecen, it was the big town in Budapest, they have to change the train to take another train. When she came down. She was with the heavy baggage, and she go very slowly, and she heard that the next train is איך אומרים, מצפצף.
It was going, it was...
Just the train moved, and she cried to the some of the people there. Just I have to go to the train, and then came one of the hungry persons there, and he takes his her baggage, and she went up to the train. איך אומרים קרון. זה חלק מהרכבת.
It's like the carriage.
קרון של הרכבת. She takes the baggage, and when she came there, she saw it was the nicest carriage. איך אומרים, המחלקה הראשונה.
It's the first class.
First class. And she came to there. She says there very nice mirror, and very nice חלונות, את windows. And it was very, very nice. Nobody thinks that I am Jew, because I was very nice, looking very nice. She has a mail or
a nice leather jacket.
Yes, they think that I am a very rich woman, and somebody gave me מגבת רחצה, like a lady. And I sit down and I wrote letters to my family, where I now very in the Gan Eden. There was two officers, and they give me all the things what I want. When the train stopped and I went down, one of the hungry officers took my baggage and go with me down, and then my friends from the simple they went down and saw me. They said, how it can be where you was? And the Hungary officer took your baggage. It can't believe it. But my mother said, I can believe it, because I see it is a sign from the Kadosh Baruch Hu that because I agreed to take the baggage of my friends to make a chesed, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu give me the chesed, is מידה כנגד מידה. Is, לא יודע, באנגלית.
Yeah, it's measure for measure.
Yes. And אכן עזרי מעם השם. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he helped me, and he will help me also in the future. Then my father, she met my father. We can imagine how was the meeting. Very, very exciting. But after that, my father came to Ukraine, and then he went to other places. We don't know where he was through a year. We don't know. But what we know that he came to Dachau in the end of 44, about November, and in December he moved to Buchenwald, and in the end of December, in 20 of December, she died from, he was very weak, and the heart, and we don't know exactly why, but it was 2 years, about 2 years that she suffered from diseases, and we know exactly the time when he died. It was a nes min hashamayim that we know the exact date when he died. It's something very, as a miracle, and I will tell you in the follows how we know it.
It's amazing that you know the day and the yahrzeit.
But it is connected with a story about a rabbi in Hungary who was very, very aware of his duty to know the dates of the people who died. It is another story I will tell you later. And we came back to our house without the father. We don't know what happened with him. And my mother, you can imagine how she felt without my father. And it became more and more worse. The clouds, anonym.
The clouds.
We heard more and more about
dark clouds ahead.
Yes,
things were getting worse.
And the war was in the air. The war was in the air. My mother told that one day she wanted to bake challah, and she had to say the bracha על הפרשת challah, and she forgot the bracha, and she need to ask somebody, a Jew in the street, tell me please what is the bracha about הפרשת challah. He told him. My mother said, this was a sign for me the war is begin, because I was so
confused.
And in 1944, in March, yes, the Nazis conquered Hungary. And they entered Hungary בבת אחת. All together, they came to every town, and just they stole, שדדו, גנבו, שדדו.
They stole.
they אנסו גם,
confiscated.
Yes. In every place they call. They also came to our house. Give me, please, no, not please. Give me your money. Or the money. Give me. And my mother said, I don't have money. You have to get money. If not, we can shoot you. And then they agreed that he went to a friend, a non-Jewish friend, the neighbor. And she get money from them, and they left her. It was the first nest that she doesn't. And then it was a decision that every Jew have to wear the Tlai Tzahov,
the yellow star.
Yes. Everybody have to wear it. Even I was very young, and my mother. Tafra.
She sewed it.
She sewed it, yes, to all the mishpacha, because she was expert in this, and one day she saw also a a woman. She was the wife of איך אומרים, החזן של הכנסייה, the church.
The church, the priest.
Not priest, one of the famous in the church, and she wore the light צהוב, the wife, yes.
She also put on the yellow star?
What happened? She said, my mother asked her, what, you are not Jewish? Said, you are right, I'm not Jewish, but my grandfather was Jewish. And the German took, everybody was some generations before, they also was in the Gzera of...
it was the decree, if your grandparents
yes, also,
going back generations.
It was with the Jews together. And then they decided to... Not decided, they decided to concentrate us, לרכז. Together in three houses, all the Jews, about 500 Jews in the town, to put there in only in three grounds, חצרות,
courtyards,
put there in three places. And was very, very crowded and without many food. We thought that it is almost the most horrible thing but it was not the horrible things. It was and we were there 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and middle of the time the hungry people there and the Nazis, they together
they prepared
a list of all the Jews who have to be expelled from the town. And we in Yad Vashem we found this reshima,
the list.
List. It is this one.
Wow. And this is held in Yad Vashem, the original.
Yes, and here I was in the. My name is in this 318. Rubinstein, 318, you saw it?
Yeah.
Rubinstein Pal, and my mother also is Rubinstein Pal. She is called George, my father's name, and here is written that my father was not in this list because he went before to the service of the army, and they put it also that because all the young men were out, they were not in the town, and my grandfather from the two sides, grandfather and grandmother, all they are in this list. And they put the stamp. It was in April 44, 13 to April. It was before Pesach. It was before the 29th birthday of my mother. It was a great matana. Somebody told me that the number of me is 318, and 18 is Chai, Gematria Chai. Yeah. It is a sign in Gematria that 18 is a sign, is Chai. So we expelled to near a town, was a bigger town, Solnok it called, and we didn't allow to take nothing, only some fruits and some איך אומרים, הלבשה תחתונה, כלומר, בגדים...
clothes that you can change.
Yes, yes. And only this. My mother has two sidurim, and they took them. They didn't allow her to take it. And we came to the Solnok. It was a big factory of sugar. בית חרושת לסוכר.
A sugar factory.
Sugar factory. And we met there many Jews from other places also. And we were there some weeks in very bad conditions. And in the first day or the second day, we heard יריות, שמענו יריות, יריות שיורים ברובה. Shootings. We heard shootings, and the Nazis came to us and say, "You hear these shootings? We murdered. אנחנו רוצחים.
We murdered.
אנחנו הורגים. We kill your families and the friends in the other side, and now very near you, very in a few hours you are also will be killed, and you have to prepare to it." And our rabbi said, my friends, Jews, my friends, came with me together, and we say the vidui, because our goral,
our fate.
Yeah. In few hours we also became to the Shamayim and we say the vidui, and it was in the night, in the middle of the night, and when the morning came, everybody lived. The other side also, everybody became alive. נשארו בחיים.
They remained alive.
What happened with what is this story? This story is a symbol of what the Nazis says. They want to is a psychological war.
Yeah.
Psychological war. They want to break our spirit from the beginning. That they want to show us who is the balabait, who is the
boss.
Who is the boss? We are the boss. When we want to kill you, you are in our hands, and we can kill you if we want. If we want, we can kill you. If we want to, I will save you. And it was very. Nobody has the thought to think about revolution, מרד או משהו כזה. They took our spirit from us. And
Chaim, there was nowhere to run to. Where could you run? Where could you go? There was nowhere to go.
Yes, but if somebody feel to make some revolution, they said that we can't. It was very hard place, difficult conditions also, and we was very crowded and without food. And so one day they took us together and said, now the list. One list is to go to Auschwitz. In our town also, some families were in the list. And they didn't know where to go. They didn't know is it good, not good. They had to go to Auschwitz. The other list is go to Austria, the Österreich. And we don't know what is better. But it was the first bigness of me that I was not in the list of Auschwitz, because if I was in the list of Auschwitz, I can't speak with you. Now, and what was the thought about send us to Austria? The story is that the mayor of Vienna, he asked Eichmann to send him many people, many Jews, to help in the factories and the town, because they were bombed the town, and they need כוח אדם, איך אומרים?
They need people
to work there. To work there in the factories. The factories also were bombed, and the German, they began to lose the war, and they want to help, and the young people, the young Jews were already in the service of the army of Hungary, as they can't get the men. So they want to take the women who are young, and also people, men who are about 50 years old, till 50, 60 years old, they can do something. And they asked Eichmann, please give me these Jews to help us. Then they take 20,000 of Jews with their families, the children and the parents of the
grandparents,
the parents of the women, and all they took to Austria. And in Austria, they separated to some places to work. But only a few years ago, I read that what I didn't know till a few years ago, that Eichmann said that I sent these people to work and to help the Vienna only for the time when they can work. If will be something that they can't work because they bombed of the factories, and they can't because they will be ill or very weak. If they can't work, now I said that the program is to take them, to kill them after it. If they can't work, they will kill them. And it was kimat. Almost it was at the time that we went to also to Lemala, the Shamayim, because the Russians שחרר אותנו,
they
liberated us ממש in the 12th hour, in the last day, because I will tell you what happened after it, but I get the sipur before that. It was a few days only that the Russian came in the time when it was the time to save us from the Eichmann's decision.
Yes.
And then we came, they put us in the trains, איך אומרים, קרונות של בקר, של בהמות.
It's cattle wagons, cattle,
Yes.
of the cattle.
Very small and many crowded people. We can't sit, only, even we can't stand because we're very crowded. And I feel not good, and my mother take me and find the place on the wall. They can איך אומרים, להישען.
To squash you,
and to take me, and one of the friends of my mother said, what this young woman take her child to she find a place to. There are many people here who are יותר מבוגרים, no? Older. Why? But my mother said, what I can do? My child is very sick and very. She need to be somewhere, and I want to help him. And then one of the eldest women says to my mother, please give me your child, and he will sit in our leg. And she was very nice woman, very tzadikah. And when she was here in Israel, my mother phoned her sometimes to thanks what she did as a chesed in this garon. Yes, and then we came to Strasshof. Strasshof is a small town near to Vienna. We came there, and they put us in very hot water, wash us in the water. They said that we want to clean you from the dirty. It was hot, and after it put us the cold water, and somebody also התעלפו, איך אומרים? Fainted from there. But my mother says it was maybe the worst רגעים הכי קשים, the worst moments, because they have to stand without clothes near men who were from our keilah, and they have to go near them without clothes. It was, my mother said, it was worse than all the physical things what she suffered. So then we went to another place. From there, they took us to a hospital, Rothschild. Once it was a Jewish hospital, and then from there they spread the people to other places. But when we were there, I got 41 grades
you got a fever.
41 in English is I don't know. 41.
It's very hard fever.
Very hard fever, and my mother didn't know what to do with me. It was very מסוכן.
Very dangerous.
כן. Then people, a man was with us, and he told my mother, before he put some medicine in hand of my mother and say, it is antibiotic for your boy. I am not a doctor, I am only a רוקח, רוקח, לא רופא, אלא רוקח. בית מרקחת, נו, איך אומרים?
Pharmacist.
A pharmacist, I know a pharmacist. I don't allow to give the medicine, but if you want to save your child, you have to take from me this. And my mother, when she told us this, he said, this man saved my life. But who was this man? He's one of the מומרים, איך אומרים מומרים? אלה שהמירו את דתם. שהם לא היו, שהיו יהודים והתעצרו.
He had
converted to Christian. He was one of this, because also this converted, they came with us also. And my mother says, it was the moment where we can say that Israel, אף על פי שחטא ישראל הוא. Even the Jew who lost his face and they lived את הדת שלנו,
he left the religion.
Sometimes he returns to the...
And he saved your life.
Yes. In the Jewish, because ישראל אף על פי שחטא ישראל הוא. And maybe הקדוש ברוך הוא sent him to save my life. It was, I was very ill because I have איך אומרים, מחלות ילדות, מחלה ש...
childhood disease.
But it was worse because the conditions. And the Austrian. The Austrian allowed my mother to stay there because I was ill. To stay there, they allowed her. But my mother was very. She can't stay without mitzvot to give mitzvot. Mm-hmm. She helped people who came, more and more people, it was a place, מקום מעבר, איך אומרים מחנה מעבר, it was a place where they are going from...
transit.
Yes, transit. It was only, from there they going other
it's
place.
A transit place.
And they came once a woman came with two child, and my mother said to her, please take my bed and put your children in my bed. She said, no, it is your bed, not... But she said, I rest here, I am here some days and I rest. Please, took me this place. You are very now very tired. She came from the way. Put them here. And so she put them here. But what is a nice story here? After some years, when we were in Budapest after the war, my mother and me were in a institute of children, of orphan children. My mother get work there to work with children, and also I was there. And before she came, you know that when somebody get a new work, they're very excited and not know what will be. And she came with איך אומרים, רגשות ככה, חרדות כאלה. Feelings. What will be? And then, because she came very near, a woman came opposite of her, and she said, you was the woman who gave me your place in the מחנה? As my mother smiled, yes, I was. Now I will help you to get to be in the work, and I will help you here to feel very good here. And this was also midah keneged midah. It was also helping. Now I was there, and because I was איך אומרים מחלה מדבקת? מחלה מדבקת, שזה מדבק אחרים, שזה...
Contagious, in a way. That it was dangerous. It was...
Not only dangerous.
But contagious.
It can... other people
can
also...
Spread. It's called yes. Contagious.
Yes. They decided, the Austrian and the Nazis also, to send me to the hospital. It was also a nest. Hospital in the Shoah.
It's amazing.
Amazing. A hospital.
For a Jewish child.
Yes, Jewish child. Not only me, other also. They went to Vienna. I heard that maybe there was a Jewish doctor, and he makes deals with the Nazis. I don't know if it's a real story or not, I don't know, but Mashamayim, it was also a shaliach for me to help me to save my life. And I was there 2 weeks. And when I have to tell you that in the middle, I don't know when exactly was, but my cousin was also there with me, about 3 years old, like me, and she died there from the diseases. She can't bear the conditions. And many children can't bear it. But I התאוששתי, recovered. Not too much, but recovered. And I came back. Then we went to the מקום הקבוע שלנו.
It's a more permanent place?
Yes, more place. It was a factory where they are working with the תותחים. איך אומרים? חלקים של תותחים. תותחים. תותח. אתה יודע מה זה תותח בעברית? תותח שיורים...
It's like for ammunitions.
לא רובה, אלא כזה ששמים ויורה ידעתי את השם שלו. תותח, זה לא טנק, זה משהו...
It's for shells, it's for...
כן.
It's type of ammunitions where they put for shelling.
כן. אז it was there, and my mother, she get a job to להרכיב את החלקים.
To prepare the parts.
Yeah, to put together.
To like put the parts together.
She had to work there 12 hours without break, only 14 minutes only, and so משמרות.
They had like shifts.
Yes.
And what were you doing during this time?
It's a very nice question. I was ill. This is a good job. We have somebody told me that it was a very very old woman who can't do nothing, and she told us stories, and, and we take from the machines, the סמרטוטים, כל מיני דברים, היינו משחקים עם זה.
That's all the סמרטוטים, it's like
כל מיני חלקים.
and all the different parts.
אבל לא יודע, don't know exactly what we do, but I was, most of the time I was ill there. And once they put me out because they they fear that I will שוב מדבק את האחרים.
You'll contaminate others.
And I put out, and all the time זה, איך אומרים שהיה פיח מהבית חרושת, השחור הזה שיוצא מהבית חרושת, שחור. The black, they came from the factory, the black out, and my face was black, and
it's like soot that comes out of the...
And I was also in fever, and I was there alone. And my mother was very anxious about me. She worked, but she always thought about my condition, what she can do. And then she was so confused that she put one of the parts of the machine, put it הפוך.
The other way around.
The other way around. And they feared that they will kill her. Because it is sabotage in the middle of the war, to do something, to damage something in the war, it was very, very dangerous thing. But they saw that she is a good worker, and also the goyim said that you can't do this for Yafa, why not? Because we need her for the work, and they left her, and so she was. And I became also second time to take us to hospital for 2 weeks also, and then my mother can't visit me. Once they could visit me, but once they can't visit me. And she always thinks about me. And once she heard my name was Pal, and my surname, Kinui Chiba. They called me Paliko. And she heard Paliko, and the words were more and more strong and higher. Paliko. She thought that she is now out of משוגעת, כאילו,
she's crazy.
She became crazy. She thought that. But then I came, she saw me. What happened? I came back from the hospital, and the people who saw me, they loved me, and said from happiness. They was very happy, and so I became them. It was very funny. My mother also, about some mitzvahs they do there, Nerot Shabbat candles, she light the candles every Friday from the סמרטוטים, איך אומרים?
It's like...
היא לקחה materials from the בית חרושת. She took some things, oil and see, and was there a man who was very religious. He helped my mother to do this mitzvah. This man was named Feldman. He one day became very ill with the ne'aim, with the beten, I don't know.
In his
Stomach. And my mother, when she came back from the work in the night, she saw that her clothes very dirty. She took the clothes and she washes the clothes.
Wow.
It was some days, few days, she did this mitzvah. When he wake up, he saw that the begadim is very clean. When he recovered, it was before Yom Kippur, and in Yom Kippur morning, he awake my mother, and he said, Geveret Rubinstein, Mrs. Rubinstein, you have to wake up. Now it's 5 o'clock. We have to go to the work. Now is Yom Kippur.
Wow.
He finished this sentence, fell down and died.
Oy.
Because he was so excited to work in Yom Kippur that he can't bear it. It was very sad. But another thing what is not said is very nice story, in the opposite. It was another people. When Purim comes, the Chag Purim, how they can fulfill the mitzvah of Mishloach Manot as Shlachmones. There was one man brought to my mother 3 potatoes with the klipot.
With the covering.
The covering, the klipot. My mother take the potatoes. She thanked him, and took the covers out. Give me what is bifnim, and I eat this, and she eat the covers.
Wow.
And one of her friends says, Geveret Rubinstein, Mrs. Rubinstein, you are from a so rich family. What are you doing here to eat the covers of potatoes? And she said, this HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us now. If I can give my son the inside of the potatoes, I give him this, and I ate the cover. What happened? He said, okay, Akol Beseder. My mother said that the end of the story from the view of a Isha Tzadika, the righteous woman, when we end the Shoah there, and we was in freedom.
We liberated.
We have to go many kilometers. After I will tell you after that, but in the way after the show, after we liberated, he saw this man who gave the Shlachmones. He saw him took a Sefer Torah in his arms, and my mother said it was a gift from Shamayim for the mitzvah he did in the Shoah, that he gave the Mashloach Manot, and he get the Sefer Torah from one of the Kfarim Shama,
one of the villages
there. Maybe the Jews left there, and they live there, and took the Sefer Torah. Everything she says is from the Shamayim, from Ashgacha Pratit. And other miracle, other ness, what happened there. Before I will tell you also what my mother did, the mitzvah what she did, when she came very, very tired every day, every night from the work, she went from man to man or woman to woman, and covered them from the smichot naflu balayla.
The blankets that had fallen on.
They fallen on, and not good smichot there, but she went from, and so she covered them. It was very cold in Vienna. This was winter. And she always told us, you heard in the radio now in Vienna is now 10 minutes minus, 10 minutes minus. And she תפרה, סיוט מי?
She covered it.
לא, שהיא תפרה לי מתשע סמרטוטים, תפרה לי חולצות, ממה שהיא לקחה בבית חולים שלי. כן, מהסמרטוטים, היא עשתה מזה זה, היה מאוד קר. ובגלל זה אני גם חליתי יותר, בגלל שהיה קר מאוד. וזהו, אז היה נס גדול, היה another miracle.
Another miracle, amazing miracle.
Another miracle was that once, always the Americans, the Russians, the English are bombed. There was about 70, 80 factories there. Big factories. And also bombs. And we have to go to the shelter, Meklat. It was a big shelter. And maybe I remember this because it now is in my remembrance that it was very good, and I always heard bombs. And we have every family had fixed the place where they have to go. When it was azaka,
it was like
alarm to went down, and we went down. As every family has the place, the fixed place. And once we came and we saw another family set in our place. And my grandmother said to my mother, you say to them something. Why they took our place? It's our place. They have to go, and we were there. And my mother said, well, we are always, everyone, we are brothers and sisters here in the same faith. Why we need to quarrel, to
quarrel with each other, to argue?
We have lived there, and we went to other place. And there came a bomb, as all the family were gone.
The family there where you were supposed to be?
Yes.
What did you say?
אז זהו, זה השגחה פרטית also.
Wow.
And it was very terrible things, but we saved, הקדוש ברוך הוא הציל אותנו.
It's amazing.
עכשיו, now, because the bombs, they can't work inside, and they decided to send the people who are working there out to לחפור שוחות בשביל כאילו בגלל כל ההפצצות צריך לחפור אז כמה קילומטר משם היה צריך לחפור שוחות, בורות כאלה בשביל
to dig trenches.
Yes. And my mother also go, but by somebody tell the woman that you if you can you have to wear some איך אומרים, סינור עם כיסים with pockets because there are some women going that put food in the and my mother also go and takes them, and באמת one of the women puts there a cake, and she all her life, my mother all her life, she cakes this cake something, and she said it is the cake of the Nes cakes, the Nes cakes. she said once always was bomb. Once they when they came back, פתאום they looking for around, and they saw that all the factories in fire, and I'm there. And she can't go. She fell down, and she went with her hands. She can't go normally, and she go few kilometers. She was, and she came very near to the factory, and a Jewish man came opposite of her, and he said, "Your son is alive."
He's alive.
Is alive. And when he finished this sentence, I came and came very near to Ima and my to mother, and my mother fell down, and she התעלפה.
She fainted.
Yes, because from the excitement, it was the climax of all this before, because I was ill and she don't know what is with me, and pitom she saw me, why? And she always tell us that maybe all the time, all her life, she lived till 80, she died in 88 age in Yerushalayim. She died suddenly, but she was very suffered from the heart. Her heart was very weak, and she doesn't allow herself to be in the smachot of us, because she felt that if something will be with her, she will איך אומרים תקלקל את השמחה.
She'll disrupt the
simcha.
and
she want to be at home in the simcha, and we agreed with her, and we understand her, because but everything she did in the house, she cooked and baked, but she didn't only to doctors, but she didn't came out, because of this was the climax. This minutes she felt this caused the heart to be very, very weak. So now, what I said to you before, that Eichmann says that if we can do, they באמת took us back to Strasov, where was first time when was the מקלחות חמות and קרות, the warm and the cold. Come back, very bad conditions. We have almost nothing to eat. I say it was after Shvi Shel Pesach. After Shvi Shel Pesach, next day from Shvi Shel Pesach, and I said I was then 3 years old. I said to my mother, Ima, ani ra'ev. I'm very hungry. And my mother said to me, what you said? You don't know that there is no food here? Please, תבטיח לי, promise me that you don't say again, I am hungry. I said, Mom, Ima, I promise you that I don't say I am hungry. But after it, אבל Ima, I am hungry. And so it was 2-3 times, and then from the איך אומרים גדר?
The fence.
The fence where we were, from the fence became הקשה של לחם, איך אומרים? הקשה של הלחם.
Some bread.
bread, but הקשה, החלק הקשה של הלחם. יש לחם ויש לו חלק הקשה של הלחם.
The crust.
אז הקשה של הלחם פתאום הגיע לשם איפה שהיינו. הקשה של הלחם, אז it was a guy,
a
non-Jews who eat the bread. It was very mefulak. He don't want to eat what is with her. And he sent it us over there. And they come, and my mother was so happy. He said it was the greatest matana, the gift for my Yom Huledet. It was day before she was 30 years old. It was Hashemayim, the greatest matana for me, this bread. Wow. So it was about few days after it, the Russian army
they
liberated us. And it became in the
Do you remember? Do you remember the Russian?
No. It was in the time, because I told you before that if we wait some days,
then they would have killed.
Yes, the Rakavot, it was ready.
The trains were ready to take.
Baruch Hashem, but it was not finished with our suffering, because they said now we will have to walk 60 kilometers from Vienna to Bratislava, the בירה שלנו, Slovakia, Pressburg, Bratislava, Poznan, it is the name of the place. They there went the joint to take us to Budapest, but till you have to go with walk to there. Then my mother says, what we can do now? I can't walk. I was 3 years old, but because I was very ill, and then also I coughing always, she had to take me in the arms. And they have some packages, and the grandmother and grandfather from the two sides, they were with them. She has to help them, and how she can walk. So, and she davened to Kadosh Baruch Hu, till now you saved us, what will be now? And then a woman, Austrish woman, came with a מריצה. אתה יודע מה זה מריצה? זה לא עגלה, זה משהו שסוחבים.
A wheelbarrow, like a wheelbarrow.
כן. היה שם ילד, there was a little boy, and she said to my mom, please put your son in the vehicle in this place. I take my son out, and you take this.
Wow!
And it was Nes the Meritza.
And this is a non-Jewish woman.
Non-Jewish woman, yes. And when she told us the story, as my daughter asked her, he was Jewish. As my mom said, no, he was not Jewish. He was a malach. Like he was an angel. Angel. Maybe Eliyahu Navi. As it was a miracle, because maybe we can't go or we can't walk there. But
so Chaim, it's amazing the story that a non-Jewish woman lent you your mother the wheelbarrow, so you could go into the wheelbarrow.
He was a malach, an angel from Shoah.
It's an angel. Wow.
אז ככה הולכים, but the suffering not finished, because I were afraid from the Russian soldiers that used to kill little boys, tinokot, and take their mothers. And we have to find somewhere where to hide them from the soldiers. And I think some kilometers, we are going some kilometers, and my grandmother find a place where we can hide. But other people, other Jewish women who were going with us, they said, oh, very nice, we can go up and to hide from the soldiers, but leave this little boy down. Why? Because he always coughing. I was ill and coughing, and if he will coughing, then the soldiers will reveal the place, and they can kill us and leave him down, and we will go up to the place where to hide. But grandmother said, but we find it, and it is our privilege to go up with the boy. And they find for solution. I went with them up, and they find on the floor somewhere cash v'teven. Cash, you know what is cash?
It's a straw.
No cash. No cash for
A straw.
for they put it in my face, on my mouth, and put it and also coverings, some coverings from smichot.
From blankets?
Blankets, put it high, and so they can't hear the coughing. And it was okay. And the soldiers went, they went from there, and we went down and continued to go, schlepping, to go till Bratislava.
How long did it take?
I don't know exactly, a few days, I don't know exactly. 60 kilometers. No bus, no train, no. But we always say that the soldiers, Soviet soldiers, had the zchut to
rescue.
To rescue, but they were not so tzaddikim.
They weren't so righteous.
Yes. And even when we went up to the משאיות, the cars, the משאיות גדולות. In Bratislava, the joint put us in the...
It's like lorries or...
carriers there. Even then, when we went from Bratislava to Budapest, my grandmother sit on my mother's... my mother was leaning there, and he sit on her, because they're afraid the Soviet, the Russians, they was with us in the car, and they saw my mother was very nice face, and they're afraid that they will take her, and we are not afraid. But we came to Budapest. My mother, first of all, she met a Jewish woman with a cake in her hands, a cake. But what's the cake? It was ugat shmarim, like the uga what you wrote to me. Ugat shmarim, you know what is ugat shmarim? But why she was so excited? Because she sometimes dreamt in the dream. She saw uga.
Wow.
And it was a chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that they dreamt such things, because when they wake up, they feel full. They were not starving, and she was very happy with the uga,
with the cake.
And then we went back to our town.
And who was your mother, your grandmother, and you?
Yes, all the family.
And any aunts? Were there any aunts or?
One aunt, but her daughter died died. And then we came to our town. We didn't find my father. He didn't come back, and we heard that he was in Buchenwald. Somebody says that he saw him there and he died there, but we don't was very sure. We're waiting. Maybe he will come back. And my mother has no parnose. She worked with tfirat, toferet, sewing, and I was without a misgeret, not gun and shum davar. No, it was not.
You had no.
I was for 3.5.
Do you remember any of this? Do you have any memories?
I in my memories only when we were there, and I was my grandfather Sinai, the father of my father, I remember that he took me to the shul, to the Knesset, and he sings songs to me, and he feels the authority. He feels that he has to be instead of my father, and to give me some chinuch.
And how did he survive?
With me, with us.
He was also with you?
Yes, grandfather, grandmother, from the both sides.
From both sides. Wow.
And they survived. It not was. Is not was so. It was very difficult, but they were about 50 years. So. And then my mother heard that in Budapest they're looking for some nurse to be with the orphans. Orphans from two parents or one parent, and she was very happy that maybe I can be with her, together. She has the work, and I will be one of the students there. You know. And so she began to work there.
Can I just ask you,
yes.
When you went back to the town,
Yeah.
how did the neighbors react when they saw you, or how did the non-Jews react when your mother came back?
So. Some was very happy to see us. It was very good friendship before. But some they took things from the house and.
And was somebody staying in your house?
I don't know exactly. We came back to the house. I don't know exactly what happened, how they came, but they also built up again the tfus.
The area, yeah.
The tfus, the tfus where they are published things.
Yeah.
How say it in English? Tfus. Where the place where they print.
The printing press.
Printing press, not at all. And my grandfather became to work again, and also I had a uncle that also works there.
And did your grandparents remain in the town?
Yes.
They stayed there?
Most of them, yes. But I was, from the father's side, my father's side, I was the one who survived from the generations, because my father didn't come back, and he had a brother, and the brother was very, very sick after the war in the lungs.
Right.
And I remember that I was to visit him. He was out, right. And he died 1 year after in 46 maybe. And he had no children. His wife also go to Auschwitz, and he has no children. So I was the only one who survived from the generations, from my father's side. In the other side it was more, but also in the other side 7 cousins were killed in Auschwitz from the side of my mother. They were living in Debrecen, the great town, and my uncle didn't come back also. From the other side also were some that didn't come back.
In the town that you were, did the shul, was there?
The shul was okay, I think. Maybe part of the shul was bombing, but they come back and they was tfilot and all. Slowly. They come back, and so as we came to Budapest to this orphans institute. מוסד, איך אומרים מוסד ילדים?
It's an orphanage. Orphanage.
Orphanage. And here is the Mossad.
So this is this 1946?
1946, yes.
And where are you in the picture? Chaim, you in the...
רגע, זה לא... Not this one, the other one. This one. This is very similar, but this is the picture.
Wow.
Here I am here. Here.
Wow.
Here. This lady and I. And my mother is not. She in my mother's hand is other boy.
So, okay, so let's.
Here is my mother. Here.
Hold on, Chaim. We're gonna
Here.
go like this.
Here.
Your mother's holding. Your mother's over here.
Other boy.
So your mother's holding here, and Chaim, and you are. If you could, where are you in the picture? Yeah.
This is the third lady.
And what?
Below the third lady.
Chaim, you over here. This is amazing. And this was a Jewish orphanage.
Yes, Jewish and Zionist, religious science, ציוני דתי. ציוני דתי is Bnei Akiva, Mizrahi, and we here with my mother here.
How old are you here?
And I come to there about 5 years old. 4.5 and 5 בערך.
And do you remember?
When I was there, yes, some remembrance.
And was it pleasant? Was it good being in the orphanage? It must have been good that you had your mother with you.
It was very good that I was with her, but she gives all her heart to everybody, like he's the biologist child, and because it took the and
it's a beautiful picture. Wow.
She was very nice outside and inside. I will show again other place. It is my first father.
This is your father?
Yes. This father was you see in the picture. You take this because this is the first picture. He saw it before.
And Chaim, can I ask, how did these pictures survive?
It's a nest, I don't know.
Like this picture here, this is...
No, it survived. It was in our house. Our house remains something there.
So it wasn't, everything wasn't looted, everything wasn't taken out?
Yes, some of this, I don't know if everything, but part of them...
it remained?
It remained, yeah. What I want to say, and we learned there in the Mossad Hebrew things with Hebrew words like Adon Olam, Asher Malach, and we didn't understand nothing because we know only Hungary, and Ivrit we didn't learn, but we can sing the songs with the Hebrew words, with nothing to understand. And we davened there, and we heard stories about Israel, about Yerushalayim, and about the Jews, ממש רוח ציונית.
It was a Zionist
atmosphere. The Bnei Akiva, the very young people, young boys from Bnei Akiva, they established some institutes like this. We were very infants, young boys, and there were other institutes for more eldest boys. And then, about when I was 6 years old, בערך, I became very, very, very ill because of the Holocaust conditions. I got the disease called tuberculosis, shachefet. You know what is tuberculosis?
It's very dangerous.
Very dangerous. And then it was no...
They didn't have the medications.
Now it's better, but then... And they take me to hospital, Jewish hospital there. There was in Budapest Jewish hospital, Jewish doctors, and they treat me and they gives all the heart and everything. And Baruch Hashem, I was the nest that I believed. And but because of that, I couldn't go to the school in my age. When I was 6 years old, I was in hospital. And after the hospital, I have to go to recover in Bet Avrah, as they say. And it was also 2-3 months. All the first year was gone. And I have to go to Kita Aleph, to the first year of the class, Kita Aleph, the first class, when I was about 7 years old. Very late. It's also because the Shoah, because the sisters of the Shoah. And during this time, there were some men who very, very like my mother, and they want to marry her, but she doesn't like this idea, because she was so connected with my father that she can't even think about a new husband. But once he said that if she will find somebody who love me and love her, then she will think about it. And it was, she find, yes.
And that is you as well, it's you.
Yes, this was after the marriage, but...
And what was his name?
His name was Tzvi Sheinfeld. Tzvi Sheinfeld. His wife was killed in Auschwitz. Maybe she was pregnant. Maybe, כמעט בטוח. And she and he more and more loved my mother, and she agreed to marry him because he likes me and
was he also a Holocaust survivor?
He was also a survivor, and he was in Mauthausen in Austria. He was in some places, but he didn't tell the stories בדרך כלל.
Mauthausen was one of the worst.
No, Mauthausen in Austria.
But it was terrible.
Yes. And my mother decided to marry him, and they came to the Beit Din of Budapest to get the permission to marry. And the rabbi there, the Av Beit Din, asked her was your husband, you know? She said, he was in Buchenwald. Then he said, Rabbi, if he was in Buchenwald, maybe we have a solution to give you the permission. What a solution? There is a rabbi called Rav Doman. He survived in Buchenwald, near Buchenwald. But in the end of the war, he went to the office of the German, the Nazis, and went from room to room to find out documents which the Germans left there. Because they was very, you know.
They were very particular, with their documents.
Yes, and he found many documents, and he put it together, a big classeur, and the rabbi sent someone to take this classeur, and they find my father's name there, and all the details about him. What's his name of the father, and where he lives, and what is the if he is dark, and what is the high of him. And here is, we find we didn't find the documents because the communist takes this, but כמעט בטוח, maybe is the this, איך אומרים, העתק של המקור.
It's a copy.
Copy of it. It is all the details. In German, in Hungary, where he's lived.
And it also gives the date.
When he died, yes. When he died. It was a staple. He came to Dachau, said to Dachau in this date, and after it in Buchenwald.
We know his yahrzeit.
What is the yahrzeit?
אז זהו, יahrzeit, יום זיכרון, yahrzeit, we know from this, he died in this 20th of December
1944.
Yes, ד' טבת.
ד' טבת.
כן. So I know his yahrzeit. It is also a miracle.
It is a miracle.
How I know?
And it's a miracle that the rabbi...
Yes, זה מסירות נפש. זה ממש...
And these documents were in Dachau.
He was...
This is in Buchenwald. This is after...
He was, you know, here is written he was in Dachau or lived Dachau. I don't know if he arrived there or lived there, departed for the 5th of December 44. And here is... he come to Buchenwald in this, this date is when he died. And also they wrote, they died from somebody,
It's amazing that they kept all the, so it says here that on the 5th of December 44 in Dachau, the stamp of Dachau.
First of all, it was Dachau, but between Ukraine and Dachau, we don't know where he was.
And then December...
About a year, we don't know. But the days, the days in December, he was in Dachau. Somewhere written that it was from heart, he's not here.
So this was the confirmation that he wasn't missing, that he actually
he was now he died. The rabbi said, "It's okay. You can mazel tov. You can marry."
But it's a bittersweet. It was hard. It must have been very hard for your mother.
Yes, but he fell down. Say, I don't want to marry, because she was so
emotional.
Emotional, yes. And the rabbi say, it is not only that you can marry, you must marry, because you have a son. He must have a father who can educate him and to Torah mitzvot, and you, Mazel Tov, and Bakasha, please take this psak and marry. And she agreed to marry.
And how did you feel about your mother getting married?
I was very, very young. I very love Tzvi. He was like my father before she married, because all the days he was with me in the Mossad. He was also a madrich.
Oh,
He was a madrich there, not somebody else.
So he knew you. He knew.
Yes, yes. And this was very normal to be together.
And Chaim, were you at the wedding?
I didn't want in the wedding, but I went to the restaurant after the wedding.
The reception.
This I remember, that we ate fish, very, very good fish.
Because there's halakhic, there's not 100, if a child can be at their parents' wedding or not, a second wedding.
Halakhic I can be, but they didn't want to be there. It was very small
very,
then.
very good.
It was very the wedding is, the second marriage is not in Ulam and then they continued to live there in the Mossad, because both of them worked in the Mossad, and my mother told by the doctors that she can't be pregnant because she is not in a good condition. She is very, very weak and can't be married, can't be pregnant. But she be pregnant, and in the beginning, from the beginning, the doctor says she have to stop the pregnancy, to stop it. But she said, I can't agree with the things that my new husband. I have a son, and my new husband, who is also a survivor of Shoah, she will not have a boy or son or girl. I can't agree with that. I have to continue my pregnancy, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will help me. She was very she הייתה מסוכנת, איך אומרים? She was...
It was very dangerous.
Dangerous,
very dangerous.
Very dangerous, but she finished there, and she have birth to a boy, very nice boy, very sweet boy. It was okay, the birth. She was very weak about it, but the boy came out, and his name is Yossi. And in the time while this happened, the communists take the shilton.
They with the government.
The government changed and the
became communist.
Yes, and then they put in Mossad the boss of the Mossad was in the beginning was Zionist and religious, but they take her out and put instead of her a new one, very, very very
a communist.
Jewish, but anti-religious.
An anti-Zionist.
Anti-Zionist, we have to take the kippah down, to throw the kippah, but I didn't agree with that, and she agreed that I will be in the kippah because she also admired my mother. She loved. But the new father, Tzvi, said that when we can live hungry, on the same time we have to live. We can't remain here because every day I will become a communist if I will there. And he had a passport of Yugoslavia because he was from the part of Yugoslavia which was the part of Hungary once. Is in the north of Yugoslavia, and he has the passport. Because of that, it was easier to leave Hungary. So we made Aliyah through Vienna, where we was in the Shoah, and through Italy, on ships, about 7 days.
In what year did you leave? In what year?
In what year? In 49.
49. So already 49. The state was established in 48.
Yes. My brother was born in about אחרי פסח בערך. After Pesach. And the wedding of the new father was in Lag BaOmer just after הקמת המדינה, after the establishment.
In 48.
Yeah, 48. And he, my brother, born in 49. In 49, and we are in the way to Israel. Before we came to Jaffa, it was the last station of us. My new father said to my mother, how we can enter the land of Israel with two names. My name is Rubinstein, and my brother's name is Schenfeld, because he was Schenfeld, and my father was Rubinstein. Now he will call in the same family. He will call Schenfeld and then Rubinstein. And to add of this opinion, he says that we have to find a new word, a Hebrew name, which is has a meaning. And now put all the first letters of the names together, and so it comes to the word Shoresh, because the S is Schenfeld. The S is written in Hebrew Shin. And Resh Rubinstein, R Rubinstein, and the other Shin, Shoresh Shin, is Schnitzer. Schnitzer was the name of my mother from
before she was
before she is. As now is together Shin, Resh Shin is the Shoah and Kumar.
And it's also the roots. The roots.
Yeah, roots. And we came together. Is
that's amazing.
Is a תחיית המתים,
It's like a revival. It's incredible. It's such a wonderful story. It's incredible.
And now we came to Israel. My father looked for apartment in Yerushalayim because everybody says that in Yerushalayim good air for me, because I was also with the lungs, and
From the
I have to,
tuberculosis.
I have to keep myself from chas v'chalila, it will be back. And so we came to Yerushalayim, but every year I have to go to a איך אומרים את זה? מכון?
It's an institute.
It's an institute of they are looking for if my diseases came back or not.
They take X-rays to
ביקורת,
see,
ביקורת, you know, ביקורת.
And where was the institute?
No, in ירושלים.
Okay, you
מכון.
go to...
כל שנה, כן. And they say that I can't go to make התעמלות, exercises and...
You had to be careful. You couldn't...
Yes, we have to be careful.
yeah.
Couldn't go to
Physical.
התעמלות. כן. All this year when I was in the בית ספר.
Which Beit Sefer did you go?
And בית ספר was called Moriah. It was a בית ספר religious, very religious, מזרחי, Zionist. And in this בית ספר learned also Rav Adin Steinsaltz. But before me, he was... and the head, מנהל בית ספר, the principal of בית ספר, he didn't want to put me in the second class. I learned in Hungary, 7 years old. I entered the בית ספר to the first class when I was 7 years old. And now I was 8 years old when we came to Israel. And it is normal, I have to be in Kita Bet, the second class. But the principal said that I don't know Hebrew, even to write and to speak. I don't know Hebrew. I have to be in the Kita Aleph. And then my father said, Tzvi, you see him?
Yeah.
He said, I can't agree with that. How he will be when he 8 years old in Kita Aleph? It is nonsense. לא ייתכן דבר כזה. I don't want to move from here if you not decide to put him in Kita Bet, in the second. And he said that if I would not success in this class, he agreed now that he will stay me in the Kita Bet. I will go again to Kita Bet if I don't gain success. And then he agreed to put me in Kita Bet. And I entered Kita Bet. But what happened there, how I managed there, it was very difficult. He knew Hebrew קצת from the Cheder and the Tzvi. He helped me very much, but it was also מהשמיים that in the class there were 2 brothers that they spoke Ungarish, not so good, but they can translate me. But addition to this, also the principal who didn't agree to get me in Kita Bet, he taught me words in the break. He said, תפתח את הדלת, תסגור את הדלת, open the door, close the door. And he helped me very much to be in the class like a normal students, normal people. And then after the year, I success to go. speak Hebrew.
And you had friends, you made friends?
Yeah, yes. The friends was very good to me. They don't understand me. Sometimes was very funny things that I have to explain to the teacher what they do, what they how they manage with me. Somebody hit me, and then I have to in the hands to explain it. It was very, very funny. So I finished the school, and Baruch Hashem with good ציונים,
good marks.
Good marks. And then I go to ישיבה תיכונית in Tel Aviv, a very good yeshiva, ישיבת היישוב החדש. And one of these fellows who helped me in Hebrew, who knew Ungarit, he was with me also the friend there in the ישיבה תיכונית. After ישיבה תיכונית I go to מרכז הרב, I learned in מרכז הרב, and I married with Judith, and some years after the marriage, my brother, the little boy who Yossi, married her daughter.
My sister.
Your sister?
Her sister.
Okay.
Wow, that's really, that's amazing.
Now we have two sisters who are married.
Two brothers.
Two brothers.
But
Can I? That's amazing. So your sister married Yossi.
no, yes.
No.
כן,
Yeah.
sister.
Your sister married Yossi.
Sarah.
That's incredible.
They live in Yerushalayim.
He is half brother
A
of
half
me,
brother, yeah.
and now we also
Wow, what an
get together.
incredible story.
yes.
But our children are not very happy with this because the family is
It's all connected. It's a
we are not a large family because two sisters with two brothers.
She had a brother who was killed in the מלחמת ששת הימים.
in the 6-day war.
And now they remain only two sisters. And two sisters, only two brothers. Is very
And your mother never had any more children.
No.
Just wow.
This brother also
like
was
a
a
miracle,
miracle. It's a miracle that he was born.
And how you?
And my brother said in the 30, he gave שיעור, he now very talented, תלמיד חכם גדול, from חרדי. And he wrote a book also, he wrote a book of חידושי תורה, and
Does he learn
in
in
ירושלים.
yeshiva?
He was learning in yeshiva, yes.
Which yeshiva?
He was in כפר חסידים, and after that in Itri, and was a חברותא of Shilo Raphael, who was in מוסד הרב קוק. And he very, very famous. He give lectures and
you
lectures.
close? You have a close connection?
Of course. But what I can say about him is that in the Shloshim of Ima, he give a shiur. It is written here and he says to the people who heard him that you know that if my mother was not so brave, גיבורה, איך אומרים? גיבורת רוח.
A hero.
I can't give you a shiur because
I wouldn't be there.
אז זהו, זה המסירות נפש של אמא.
Can I ask, did your parents, did they speak to you and your brother about the Shoah when you were growing up?
Yes.
My mother speak always.
All the time.
כן, but she always give the אמונה, the ביטחון, with the סיפור.
And your father never spoke?
He spoke very, very... He spoke where he was, and we heard about somebody that he saved him from death. He saved his friend from death. I don't know how, but he was very, very good man and good heart. And sometimes he forgot that I'm not the biology son. And I have to see the pictures. Here I with my brother.
This is so wonderful. You can see very happy. Both of you are very happy.
Baruch
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. It's amazing. It's so.
He is my brother. Yossi, he was my mother. Is
This is
one of
wonderful.
the last pictures of her.
Your mother.
Yes.
And Chaim, can I ask, when you were growing up in school, how did the children relate knowing that you are Nitzalei Shoah, that you're a survivor? Could you speak to your friends?
Yes, I heard from other places it was very difficult. But I didn't feel some. I was only me was the survivor in the class.
Wow.
And in the first year it was very difficult to speak with them.
You didn't know Hebrew.
But after that I was one of the good students there, and I helped them also, and no problem. There was no problem.
Can I ask, have you ever been back to Hungary since you left, or to Poland?
In Hungary, and I was with his wife also, and I was in Bet HaKvarot. I go to the kever of my uncle who died, brother of my father, who died after the Shoah. I was in here kever, and I was in the kever of Saba Vesavta, of grandmother in. And grandmother and the kever of them. I was there also, because they didn't come to Israel, but the father and mother, my grandmother and grandfather from the mother side, they came. They were with us in Yerushalayim. They lived some years and died after some years. They were here. But it was very nice to be with them.
And have you ever been to Germany, or to
No.
and you wouldn't go? And
I tried to find some עקבות, some signs, something from the hospitals. If there are documents, I can't find.
And Austria?
I know the names of the hospitals, because my mother told me the name, but I can't find it. They say there is nothing there. I don't know. But in Germany, what I can look, my father has no kever.
But to go to Dachau, you wouldn't go? Or?
What I can see there? What I can see there? Maybe he is in one of the. I don't think.
But he died in Buchenwald.
He died in Buchenwald, yes. But what they did with him, I don't know. If they buried him or other things, very. Now is also a nice things about our connections together. That you know, my first father, his name was Yehuda, and second father Tzvi, Yitzchak Tzvi, was Yitzchak Tzvi, and father Yehuda. We have three girls and one boy. The boy came to the world after three girls.
Wow.
And we didn't know what name we will give him, Yehuda or Yitzchak Tzvi, because he was born after some months after Tzvi was died. And it is normally Matim that we give his name, but my father also named Yehuda. We give all the names.
All the names.
Yehuda Yitzchak Tzvi. Now his name is the boy. He come here. You saw him. His name is Yehuda Yitzchak Tzvi. Boy.
That's amazing.
Is Yehuda Yitzchak Tzvi. This is Shoah Tkuma.
It's amazing.
And Yehuda Yitzchak Tzvi.
But every day we don't call him.
Only Yehuda, because it's very long.
Only Yehuda.
Wow.
As at the end of the Sipur, I also, when I speak with students, I used to read the this is a very small event, but very, very strong event, which happened in the beginning of the war, before the German came to, I think the German, I don't know if they were in Hungary or not, but Ima, every time, many times, she tell us this story. It was times, here is written here, the time was very, very, איך אומרים את זה?
מה?
זה היה מאוד מתח, היה לקראת מלחמה, ידעו שיש מלחמה.
You knew that was going to be the war.
כן, והיה גם חושך בגלל ההפצצות.
There was darkness.
Darkness, and I was still in our town. I was about 2.5 or 3 years, no, not 2.5, about 2 years old, and I need milk, because it was the main food for me. But the Goyim, the non-Jewish people, didn't want to sell milk to Jews.
In your town?
In the town. Even our friends, because they fled from Hungary and the Nazis, and they didn't agree. But my mother heard that there is a good man, non-Jewish, the one man who agreed to sell milk to the Jews. But he is living very, very far, in the end of the town. And my mother have to go on the way, and not straight. She has to go in a point where she has to turn. יש איזה צומת,
איזה intersection.
איזה מקום שצריך.
Okay, it's an intersection.
כן. עכשיו היה חושך. It was darkness, and she went, and he didn't know where is the point where she had to turn. And she prayed to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, what will be? I need milk for my boy. And then she said, I lost my way, and I don't know where to go. I hope that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will help me. And then, pithom, suddenly, a help from the Shamayim. How is the help of Shamayim? It came barak.
Lightning.
Barak,
lightning.
שיש גשם בברק. Barak. But what was the nes, the miracle? That the barak came exactly when she was in the tzomet.
Wow.
In the tzomet. וכך ידעתי לאן ללכת. So I don't, from the barak, because the barak, I knew how to go, where to go, and then I came and I got the milk. She said that this was in the beginning of the war for us, and this was a sign from the Kadosh Baruch Hu that the Kadosh Baruch Hu give a light for her during all the time. She said, כל הזמן אני אומרת יש אמונה. Always I say, אמונה, faith. ומתי שצריך, פתאום ברק. When I need it, it was a ברק. וכל המחנה ברק. All the time of when I was in the camping and all the time,
There was
with me. The barak was in my mind. As Emunah,
my faith?
my girl.
No, our daughter.
Your daughter, okay.
Her name is
Emunah.
Okay.
And,
But which is faith?
Okay. And she asked my mother, from when you have the Emunah, the faith, from which age? From you will from when you was very young? Yes, she said. בטח, זה הטבע שלי, is my nature. אמונה is my nature. This is the
symbol. This is a
symbol of all the story.
And Chaim, I have to ask you, what message do you give to your children and grandchildren and for the future?
I say that in the life there is difficulties, problems, but we need to take the emunah with us and to be to overcome the problems, because our problems is small in relation to what my mother and I suffered.
So true.
And it is very nice to say it, but to לבצע את זה,
You actually lived it. You experienced it.
It's very. Sometimes I remember the stories from the Shoah. It gives me power to overcome things.
It's chizuk. Gives you.
Yes.
So Chaim, I just want to thank you. I'm going to just.
There is also a funny story about it. It's connected with the Shoah, but not exactly the Shoah.
Okay.
It's connected for my. איך אומרים את זה? תקומה, לא, תקומה. After the Shoah.
Yeah.
After
the Holocaust?
After the Holocaust, you know, I told you that I was I was in problems after the Shoah also, because the tuberculosis,
with health problems.
And then after I recovered from my illness, from the tuberculosis, I have יום הולדת.
You had a birthday?
It's a birthday of 7 years old.
למה אתה מדבר כל הזמן בלשון הווה?
No, it's very good.
I had.
Okay, you had a birthday?
I had יום הולדת.
Your birthday?
7. And I got a very special gift for the יום הולדת. You can't imagine what was. My Saba, my grandfather, the father of my father who was killed in the Shoah, and my grandmother gave me a particular matana gift for the Yom Haledet. What was this? One day, my mother say, we have to go to some place. We come to the place, and I come there, many חוטים and cables and what is this? It was ulpan הקלטות. You know what is ulpan הקלטות? The place where records the songs.
Okay.
A place.
A recording studio.
Recording songs, yeah. And what I have to do here? And my mother says, now you have to sing the things from the Mossad, the Hebrew things from the Mossad. What you have to sing? What to sing? My mother said, no, יש אדון עולם, יש זה. And I began to sing this, and about 5 minutes is recorded, about 4 or 5 songs. And it was the taqlit record.
They made a record.
Old records is 78.
Yeah.
And after it we changed it to tape, and after it now we have the disc.
Wow.
Disc of
And
it.
you still have it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
very funny.
אדון עולם, השאלה כזה ככה.
Wow.
It is...
Hungry.
It's amazing. So, Chaim, I'm going to want to thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you, Chaim. באמת, תודה רבה עם כל הלב.
תודה רבה לך.
I'm so grateful to you.
It is the opportunity to give the story about אמונה and ביטחון of my mother.
But Chaim, you know, your story and what you went through, it's miracles upon miracles. Emunah, it's just unbelievable. It's just so incredible. Your story is what you went through, and your mother and her faith and her determination, and
she was very special.
And the barak, what you said, the barak, the lightning, Hashem really guided, and that you, when you think about what happened to you, how she didn't argue with those people, so they didn't move, and then the bomb fell on them.
Yes.
She could have said, "This is our place, you must leave." Mm-hmm. But she must have had the most amazing, kind tzedekah, a real righteous lady. And I'm so grateful to you, and this has been incredible.
Of her. יפה ירושתנו, it means יפה ירושתנו. Yerusha, you know what is Yerusha?
Yeah, it's
because she called Yafa in Hebrew.
Yafa is, and it's also nice, and it's beautiful, and it's nice.
Her name in Hebrew, because she called Shendel. Shendel was the name. And Shendel is Yafa.
And here's just this is a picture of your dear mother, and what she has left, such a legacy, and I'm so grateful to you, really, and you should just have nachas and good health.
I forgot to tell you the mishpoche. How many we have the mishpoche?
Ken and Hara?
Yes, we have 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy, and 16 grandchildren, 16.
Sure.
And now we are waiting to the 11th great children.
Wow! What nachas!
It is the...
Wow! It's really unbelievable. And you know that is the nakama. That is the revenge. The revenge is that you built a beautiful family.
This is Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai. I'm so grateful to you, and thank you so much.
תודה רבה לך.
תודה רבה.
רגע.